brother lived there for a while too.
Hi everyone, we're here at the whiskey tour right now.
Oh, there. Go ahead.
That's all right. Are you going down now? Or
Yeah, come on. Everybody say hi, Larry. Pour this scoop into this hammer mill. That's a fun job. It used to be worse though.
792 times.
Yeah, right. Used to be worse. So our grains are grown locally. We have a farmer. If you travel east on I-70 to about the Smithton exit, look to the right. There's a big cornfield. That's all. And those wheels start turning and takes all that grain right upstairs for us and drops it right into the mash bill. So not a whole lot of manual labor here other than the scooping.
Is that how much grain it takes per tank?
To make our whiskey
Right.
consistent. So other distilleries may do it differently.
Right.
So that's how everything kind of gets started.
Bourbon malt.
It's always the longest that my whiskey ever stays in my glass because I never stop talking when I was too ready. So, if you want to start a distillery, you have a couple different options. You can either have a lot of money and make a lot of whiskey and let it sit for a few years before you ever sell anything. That's one option for us. You can start by making gin and vodka and tequila, which are unaged spirits you can sell right away, start generating some income before you start aging a product. We didn't want to do that. We want to be whiskey only, whiskey focused. So the other option is to start in small barrels. You can see over there, there's a couple, those are probably 15-gallon barrels on the floor there, nice small ones. Just think of the ratio of whiskey to surface area inside the barrel. In a smaller barrel, the whiskey's going to be touching more of the oak more of the time. So it's kind of hard for me to explain, but it doesn't age faster. Just 3 months is still 3 months no matter what. But the effect that the barrel has on the whiskey happens faster in the smaller barrel. So we started out in even smaller barrels than that. And the first whiskey that we sold was maybe only 2 or 3 months old. And most people would pretty much turn their nose up at that and not even want to try it. But it was good. It's definitely better now, but we were proud of it enough to sell it and people bought it. So that kind of got us able to work our way up to 15-gallon barrels and then 25-gallon barrels and then 30-gallon barrels. And now everything is going into these big 53-gallon barrels here. This is the standard barrel size for American whiskey. As we talked about upstairs, it has to be a brand new American oak barrel every time for bourbon and for rye. And so the inside of the barrel has to be charred. So that's what the inside of the barrel will look like there. Think of your Brita filter at home. It has a charcoal filter in there. That charcoal takes out some of the impurities and cleans up some of those off flavors and off aromas. And if you look, you can see this line running along here. That's the absorption line. That's how far the whiskey went into the oak and back out. And so as it sits for 2 years or more, and the temperatures change, a lot of people ask, do you control the temperature, the humidity, and everything down here? And the answer is no. We want as much variation as possible. We want it to be as hot as it can be when it's hot. So sorry about the temperature down here right now. But we also want it to be as cold as it can be when it gets cold. That makes those barrels just that much more active. They breathe that whiskey in and out through that charcoal, pick up the flavors of the oak, pick up the color that turns it brown. And so, that process is happening right now in all these barrels. So that's the inside of the barrel.
These ones are all full?
Yes, yeah. So you can see there's still some of the smaller ones over there. Those are 25 and 30-gallon barrels. Everything now is going into the 53-gallon barrels. And this is just a very small fraction of our barrels. When we started putting everything in 53-gallon barrels, we ran out of space pretty quickly. And so we had to rent some warehouse space down the street. We've got probably over 200 of these off-site. So we've got a lot of whiskey aging, which means a lot more whiskey in the future. So another fun day at work, when you get to sample the barrels. So you take the drill and you drill it into the side of the ones that are standing vertically. The ones that are horizontal, you just take the bung out. But you drill into the side of the barrel and whiskey shoots out. And you put a glass under it and you taste it and plug it back up. It's always a good day when Rudy gets to try a barrel. Yeah, let's see, last Monday, I think. So, aside from like special releases, if you were just to buy a bottle upstairs, that's a combination of probably 3 or 4 different barrels in every batch. And so you might choose one barrel because it has a nice fruity taste, another one has a nice spicy taste, another one has a nice earthy taste, another one has that oak flavor. You want to combine them all together for consistency in every batch. So last Monday, I think it was, we had 12 different barrels that we were trying to narrow down to 3 or 4. And so we each had 12 glasses on the table, a sample of each barrel, and had to taste them all and see which ones were ready, which ones weren't, and narrow it down. Excuse me, finally got down to 3 or 4 and decided that was going to be the blend for the next batch. So it's a tough job. Somebody has to do it. Believe it or not, yeah. So, any other questions about barrels, aging? The crane, yep. So we'll use it's down there. So we'll load up barrels onto a pallet like this, wheel it over under the trap door there, bring the crane down, strap it up, and push it right up to the floor. But you can see I was talking about the structure. This is not going anywhere. This is meant for a long week. So the myth that I like best about how barrel aging got started, I don't know if it's true or not, but I like it. People were putting their whiskey into used fish barrels. So you can imagine what that tasted like when it came out. So they started to get rid of all the fish slime inside the barrels. They burned it out. They burned all that stuff out. It charred the inside of the barrels. They put the whiskey in. When it came out, it was brown. It tasted different. It smelled different. It was all better. It's a pretty good idea. We'll just do this no matter what's in the barrel. So whether that's true or not, I don't know. That's the one I like the best. So we'll go with it.
How much do you lose in the 2 years?
Good question. Every barrel is different. I don't have a percentage or anything like that I can give you, but it's not a whole lot, but it is, some in every barrel. I call that the angel share, if you've ever heard that. So the whiskey that's lost to evaporation is the angel share. I can tell you a funny story about that. So we started selecting barrels for our single barrel program. We hadn't really done any single barrels yet, which just means instead of blending 3 or 4 barrels together for our regular batch, if you find one barrel that has a unique taste to it, you can just bottle that barrel by itself and offer it as kind of a special release kind of thing, limited edition. And so we had this barrel that we were watching. We kind of liked the way it was aging, liked the way it tasted and smelled. And so it was going to be our first single barrel, second single barrel. And so again, hard work. You have to come down and taste it every once in a while. And one day, Rob and Kevin, the 2 sons, they came down to taste it. It was completely empty, bone dry. Nothing on the floor, nothing showing on the barrel where it had leaked or anything like that, just completely dry. And so the other part of this story is Ellen, the mom of the family, has been told many times by people who come into the distillery and people outside the distillery that she has someone who follows her around that she can't see. And whether you believe in that or not, but people who come in and claim to be able to see those things and feel those things have told her that, and people who have been totally disassociated with each other. And she has seen and heard things here in the distillery. So we started kind of joking that it was the ghost that drank all the barrel, or all the whiskey out of the barrel. And so can't do anything about that. We put another barrel in its place that we also liked as a single barrel candidate. Started watching it. Pretty soon it starts dropping. The volume's disappearing really quickly. So decided we're going to pull it right now. We're not going to lose another barrel. We'll pull it. This is going to be the next single barrel. And so we had a group text going around, and what are we going to call this single barrel? You have to come up with a catchy name. And so it was the Thirsty Angel, or the Angel Share, and somebody said the Greedy Ghost. And so we kind of like that when we're kicking it around. And Kevin said, well, maybe we don't want to call it the Greedy Ghost. Maybe that'll make the ghost angry if we call him greedy, and something will happen. We decided we're going to go ahead and go with it anyway. So we called it the Greedy Ghost. It was really popular. But the day after we decided on the name Greedy Ghost, they came downstairs and flipped the light switch, and the lights wouldn't come on. So take it for what it's worth. But yeah, a little bit of whiskey lost to evaporation. Try to keep everything as local as possible.
Yes.
So a barrel How about the aged rye whiskey? What do you think about it? Very different? So the rye, the bourbon, and the Pita Bourbon are all 92 proof, a little higher than the Bassettown. So kind of a mid-range. It's not low proof compared to other whiskeys, but it's not the highest you can get either. We like it a little bit on the high side. So those two are rye-based whiskeys.
I'm not sure one's darker than the other.
Exactly. Yep. So bourbon and rye have to be aged in a brand new barrel every time. We talked about that. Corn whiskey can be aged in a used barrel. So think of making a cup of tea with a tea bag and then making a second cup of tea with the same tea bag. It's going to be a lighter, weaker color and flavor. Same thing with the corn whiskey. When it's aged in a used barrel, that barrel has already given a lot of its color and flavors and aromas to whatever was in it the first time. And so it has less to give the second time around. So you get a lighter colored spirit. You also get less barrel influence in the taste. So this drink's a little bit kind of sharper, I like to say, because that barrel hasn't contributed as much to kind of calm it down a little bit. So try the corn whiskey, see what you think.
I don't like the corn whiskey.
You like that one? Yeah. So bourbon, we talked about characteristics are present in the different whiskeys. So the rye whiskeys are going to be on the bolder, spicier side. The corn whiskeys are going to be a little bit lighter and sweeter. And depending on how much corn goes into it, kind of affects how sweet it is. And then last but not least, well actually not last, we still have the bourbon cream. Last one on your menu there is the Pita Burger. That's the barley that you tried downstairs that has the really smoky flavor. So pretty much the same as the bourbon whiskey, but the barley that goes into it is the smoked barley as opposed to the unsmoked barley. So you'll definitely smell and taste that in the Pita Burger.
Definitely an on the rocks kind of guy.
So this is only 30 proof. It's great by itself on a big ice cube. Put in your coffee, tea, hot chocolate, root beer. Pour it over your ice cream. Somebody said they made French toast with it and poured it over their French toast.
No, you gotta drink.
I bet it wasn't a drinking cup.
That's the gateway whiskey.
Look at it, so there's cream in it. You tried it?
It's like for kids.
I don't taste much alcohol.
You taste a lot or not a lot?
No, I don't taste it.
That's why it's dangerous.
How many alcohol in that?
It's only 30 proof. It's a lot lower than the others.
Yeah.
Even drink this one.
I haven't even tried this one. Any other questions or thoughts?
Why are you out of corn whiskey?
It's popular.
Popular.
We don't make it as often as the others, but it is gaining popularity. So we didn't have as much on stock, and with the Whiskey Rebellion Festival and just us kind of growing pretty quickly, it disappeared. So we have more in barrels. Probably in the next month or so, we'll be pulling those barrels and resupplying the corn whiskey stock. There's a reason we age whiskey, right?
Seal it.
Huh?
Seal it.
You don't like the smell of it.
Well, that kind of brings us to the end of our tour, guys. So if you have no other questions, thank you very much.
Thank you
Had a good
so
time with
much.
you. Feel free to stick around and finish your samples. I can go out for more cocktails if you like. There's bottles out there, t-shirts, hats, all kind of stuff in here. So relax and have a good time. Whenever you're ready, you can come on out.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jeff.
Hi everyone, I hope you like this video. Please don't forget to leave us a comment down below and like and subscribe, and please don't forget to hit those notification bell button. So I hope you enjoy this video. Thank you guys. Bye.